Welcome back, everybody. We are the Alter Ego Brothers. I'm Nick, that's Andy, and that is John.
What's up?
Today, we are tackling one battle after another. The latest from Paul Thomas Anderson and Leonardo DiCaprio. So without further ado, let's get into what we thought about this movie. 10 out of 10. I love this movie. It was so fun. You got 10 out of 10 over there, John?
It's a 10 out of 10 over here, too.
10 out of 10. Andy, you got 10 out of 10?
I do have a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10, folks. Now, why is it a 10 out of 10? That's what we're coming here to discuss with you all. And in a little bit, we might even see what our scores compare to the general population and even critics. So first off, let's talk about the story. There's a lot to chew on here.
I really like the story, but I don't think it's necessarily for everyone because there were a couple people I noticed leave the theater fairly early on and they did not come back at all. And that might be partially because they do take some of their time getting everything set up. And that beginning section is a little weird and it throws you off because there's a lot of really quirky humor. And I mentioned this in our Out of the Theater review over on our TikTok. It's kind of strange how this weird quirky humor, which is usually just to lighten the mood, to like reset emotions in these intense moments, actually have a major device to like the actual plot that's going on. And you don't recognize that in the beginning, but as the movie goes on and you realize how things are developing, you realize those jokes and those weird quirky moments in the beginning start to make sense and why they were happening. So I think if people stayed longer, they would have actually appreciated it. So I think if you're gonna watch it, stay through to the end because it's gonna be really important to do that. We might talk about this a little bit, but I do want to mention this might borderline be a Christmas movie, but I'm just gonna leave it at that.
That's such a wild thing to say. I don't agree with that whatsoever.
I want to agree with you, but I'm struggling. Yeah, going back what you said about the quirky humor in the beginning, what this movie does with tone is like borderline miraculous. Like it's on such a tightrope between like tense thriller and like Coen Brothers humor. Like it's very Big Lebowski, like because like if they let it play out dramatically too long without that, you're not going to know to laugh later when it does actually come up. It's interesting how they kind of use the tension of like the riots and then police getting after them to like build up this pressure that just gets released like a valve whenever Leonardo DiCaprio just like does something really stupid or funny. He's so good in this too. They really play to his strengths in this.
That moves beautifully into the next point. So Paul Thomas Anderson is very loose as a director. He's not theatrical where he demands characters like move to a certain spot and stand there and then speak in a certain way. He's very loose in how he directs. He's very character driven, and a lot of what I have researched after the fact, of course, Paul, Leo, and Benicio drove this story in a completely different direction than Paul Thomas Anderson had originally thought of. So Leo and Benicio had taken their characters and their time together and come up with the whole Underground Railroad. So they ended up having to stop, go somewhere completely different and reshoot a whole bunch of stuff because they're like, I think this is what my character would do. And Paul Thomas Anderson's like, great, let's shoot it. Let's do it. That makes sense to me. And so it's a very character-driven story. And if you're not ready for something like that, this movie does a great job of filtering out the weak from the very beginning. But anyway, going on the characters, I would almost argue that Leo is not the lead character. It is more focused on Sean Penn and Chase Infinity. And Leo is kind of the comedic relief throughout the movie. His character Bob is just kind of a fuck up. And one of the things Leo mentioned in an interview that he kept saying was like, is this Bob's time to shine? And he's like, I kept thinking about it. And I'm like, no. He's a drugged up has-been. He's not going to be the hero. He's never going to make the heroic choice, even if he wants to. He's just there to be a dad. And he realizes throughout the movie that he's not the revolutionary that he used to be from the very beginning of the movie. And it was time to pass the torch on to the next generation. Even though it was his fight, she was the one that finished it. And I thought that was super beautiful.
As Nick was saying, Chase Infinity is definitely the heart of the movie, especially for her character. Like, she's the one people are after. She's the one that's like learning about this world that her parents had started a fire under, and what the result of that was, and what decisions that she has to live with since all these other people have made these choices around her. And just seeing her react to that was like really something. And then of course Sean Penn was like really like hamming it up hard in like the best way possible. Like, I haven't seen like such over the top shit since like Dr. Strangelove, when Kubrick told that one actor, yeah, let's do a silly take and then we'll do a serious one, and then just use the silly take every single time. It felt like they maybe did something similar.
I think it's really good on Paul Thomas Anderson to have listened to his actors when they're wanting to take charge and redeveloping the storyline, because I'm remembering a Peter Dinklage interview, not to like, we're just going off on these random videos we have watched, where he talked about when he works with directors, he'll work with the director who's done like 20 movies or whatever and has 20 movies of experience. But Peter Dinklage makes the point of saying, well, I've worked on 150 movies, and so I kind of have this other additional layer of experience that you should just listen to me when I have an opinion on something. And I think there's a lot of value to that, especially with the cast that he had. So that was good on him to listen to that and be willing to tank part of that budget just to reshoot things and do it a whole different direction. And to your point too about Leonardo not being the main character, it's almost like there were almost chunks where different actors had their own moments where they were the lead character, because there were moments where Leonardo was definitely the lead character. But it was almost kind of like a stage play in a way, where you see this like section of the play and then it's the next act and then it's the next act.
I would agree. I think one of the main issues that people may have is trying too hard to follow Leo when he's so far behind on everything that's happening. He's the old guy bumbling to catch up. And if you stay too focused on his character, you're gonna not really understand or see what's going on in front of it. Everything that's going on with Willa, with Captain Lockjaw, and all the nuns and everything like that. Because he's literally like half a day or so behind, just straight up from the start, falling off the roof of that building and getting arrested pretty much right away, not understanding any of the codes or anything, and just being like, man, I haven't done this in 16 years and I've done nothing but drugs and drink alcohol. Like, you gotta cut me some slack, man. I just don't know what's going on.
Like, to your point of DiCaprio being so behind, that did end up working out really well for the like ending climax, as like all the characters and plot lines were converging. Leo was just catching up and the audience is just rooting, come on, you gotta catch him. You got, like, literally there's like a chase, sort of like an indirect chase, where like Leo's like so close to getting to his daughter and like rolling highway hills of just not knowing what's over the other edge. Is there a car there or not? Like, that was just so well done.
That was one of my favorite cinematography moments, which is easily gave the 2 out of 2 points for me on that end, because that was so cool. And I never thought about using hills where you go downhill and can't see what's happening anymore as this like intense moment of not knowing what's going on all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up in the next segment here, where we talk a little bit more about the technical aspects of the movie, and by far that is my favorite scene. The other aspect I wanted to mention is I think I could have given this movie a 10 out of 10 alone, just based off the score.
That was an aspect that I wanted to talk about, because that was where I got the most hung up on my scoring because the score of this movie is very contemporary. The music alone, if you listen to it, you're never just going to listen to it alone. But when you watch that movie, is absolutely perfect for that. Yeah, I want to talk about this special effects and more particularly the sound effects. And this is just going to be brief. I swear to God, every sound effect that they needed to have in this movie, they took the real thing that was making the sound and went to the real location of it and got that real authentic sound, whether it's a gun in a large room or a particular car on a particular road. It felt so authentic. That sound effect of the gun in that large room, my brain thought that was a real gun. Like it triggered something in me. That's how authentic it was.
We don't often get a movie that perfectly fits the moment that we're currently living in, and this one does it.
In the future, I could still see this movie holding up, even if, like, you know, hopefully things get better.
I think this movie is what Eddington thought it was.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too. This is a better time capsule than Eddington.
One thing that I believe Chase Infinity said in an interview is that she thought that it captured Gen Z in a more positive light than other movies had. And I think that's very true. All right, are we brave enough to see what our opinions are stacked up against the entirety of the internet?
We'll tackle one review after another.
All right.
Been holding that in my pocket for 2 seconds. I just thought of
For
it.
2 whole seconds. All right, so here's the first one. This is a 10 out of 10, and they're saying, a true masterpiece, Paul Thomas Anderson has created one of his finest works to date. With an incredible story, amazing performances, from Leo's fantastic performance in Chase Infinity, a rising star, to Del Toro, who is just incredible in this movie. Sean Penn, who is the villain, is also giving a fantastic performance that can for sure get him his 3rd Oscar win. Everything else from cinematography to the editing, sound design, and Johnny Greenwood's score is all perfect.
Yeah, well said.
Sean Penn Oscar win on this one. That would be a ballsy move, but I don't mind it necessarily.
I don't mind it either.
I mean, I was a 10 out of 10, so obviously I'm going to agree with a lot of the positive things they have to say about the movie. But I do like the fact that they're pointing out the different characters and stuff and recognizing that everyone just did a fantastic job.
I agree. This is definitely Paul Thomas Anderson's masterwork. Like, I've seen a few movies of his at this point. This felt structurally very clean to follow, but still complex. Great to see how it went from even another movie based on a Thomas Pynchon book, Inherent Vice, and how it became so perfected isn't a great word, but it's the word I'm going to settle on.
I found a 0.5 star review, and this is from Dennis. This movie angered me. At first, it was because of the commercial I saw for it led me to believe it was an action comedy, which is not the case at all. Then it was the content. Lawbreakers trying to evade lawbreakers. I couldn't get behind anyone to root for.
I think they totally missed the entire premise of the entire movie. First of all, it is very much a comedy action movie, but maybe you don't necessarily have to title it that, but you could. And lawbreakers, going after lawbreakers, that's our modern day society. That's what the movie's about. We got people very much manipulated that are in power, that are breaking the law and trying to do whatever they can to get away with it, while you have other people rebelling against those lawbreakers. And in order to rebel, you have to also break the law because the rules were set by those people. So you can't go after them legally. So it's just, that's the world we live in. You totally missed the plot. Or don't live in America.
No, that was well said. And like putting aside the like issue of not having anyone to root for being a bad thing, which I can go on about, but like Willa, as far as I know, didn't break any laws like basically the whole movie. And it's like, why wouldn't you be rooting for her safety? Like that kind of seems obvious to me, even putting aside your weird moral stance about rooting for lawbreakers. But yeah.
That's true. Like Willa is a clean slate character.
Yeah, I only ever felt bad for Willa the whole time because she didn't choose this life or this situation, and she was headstrong the entire way, just dealing with it one battle after another.
All right, now the one we've all been waiting for. Good old Gen X Jeff. If you haven't heard of Gen X Jeff before, very much a reviewer's reviewer, and you can read more of his reviews on our latest video of A Big Bold Beautiful Journey. Without further ado, here we go. Terrible propaganda walked out. Critics get it wrong again. Glorifying an anarchist terrorist. By the way, no Gen X here in this one. This is how mad Gen X Jeff was. All of his reviews start off with Gen X here or Gen X reporting in, something along those lines. There is none of that here. Glorifying anarchist terrorists. And they are the good guys? LOL. This is Hollywood CIA propaganda film is completely out of touch with the majority of America. Long, boring. It literally will piss most folks in this country off. Reminds me of the disaster Civil War from last year. I walked out at the 2-hour mark disgusted. 100% political garbage. Paul Thomas Anderson's worst film is a TDS nightmare. Skip it. Not even worth the stream. Sorry, those are the facts. Maybe next time, make a film that 75% of the country can enjoy instead of the 25% still asleep. Figures the critics loved it. They are completely wrong once again. Pass!
Wow. He had a lot more to say than usual in this. First of all, let's just get this. Let's get the elephant out of the room. You made it 2 hours into a movie and then decided to leave. There's probably, 10 minutes left? Anyway, to be out of touch with America is just evidence how Gen X Jeff is out of touch with America. Just Jeff. Not nothing. I'm not saying anything else there. To say that no one's going to like this and it doesn't relate to 75% of Americans, yet he can literally go to the reviews right now on the same website where he posted his and find out the general population gave it like a score of 90%. I'm going to apologize.
Oh, he gave it a 1 star, by the way.
Yeah, I guess I assumed that.
Yeah.
You are in the 0.01% of people in the entire world that think it's that low of a score. So, sorry, buddy, you big miss on this one.
I got Hollywood CIA propaganda. Like the CIA is running. I thought he thought like that the CIA made the movie as propaganda or something. I don't know what to tell you, man. I guess check out Boogie Nights or something. Maybe that'll be more. You can see Mark Wahlberg's like huge fake hog in that one, so maybe that'll be more up your alley.
We all, as a collective, gave it a 10 out of 10. Let's combine the scores of the audience, and overall, they gave it an 8.5 out of 10, while critics overwhelmingly gave it a 10 out of 10. So we're kind of with the critics on this one.
We ain't just 2 regular dudes. We're 3 regular dudes.
But I'll take it. You can call me a shill for this one. This was a great movie. Easiest review I've ever had. Really easy to go and watch, and lots of stuff to chew on afterwards. So that is, for the second time in a week, giving us a 10 out of 10 on our tier list. I'm pretty happy about that. That's kind of fun. I don't think we've ever done that before.
It's been a fun week. 2 10 out of 10s in a row. This has been a good time for movies right now.
Mm-hmm.
Any last words?
No.
This review
Thank
is
you
too
for
long.
liking, commenting, and subscribing. Oh, God. I think we're going to cut a lot of that out. All right. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We've been here. Just remember, we are 3 regular dudes.
Doing right. What's happening?
We've been here.
I just rolled with it.
Telling you how it is. We've been here. We've been snobby critics. We are 3 snobby critics doing regular snobby critic reviews.
It's where And this is where Leonardo DiCaprio's character meets his future. I am fucking this up.
Just say I'm.
Go ahead and cut this part too, future Andy.
Yeah. just cut me out of the whole thing. Like
Andy, let's start with you.
Done?
Sorry, John.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, I'm going to cut all that out anyway.
Okay, great. I'm glad I got the one good take. Just throw it in.
Imagine.
That was just
That was
for
for
you.
me.
That'll be the blooper at the end.
Just John's take.
Just
A regular
Me
take.
being honest. Cut that.